Hey y'all, it's Heel Heat time.
Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles and this is Wednesday Wrestling Wrap Up. Let's jump right into it. First off with the negatives of the night. First, from the land of Lucha Underground, the Mac versus Cage, in what ended up being a schmoz. I've remarked on this before. I've liked both of their works, specifically in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. Here, they just don't seem to mesh well. Sometimes you put two good wrestlers together and they don't work, and this is one of those situations. I'm not interested in this feud. I wasn't interested in this match, and I won't be interested in the payoff, which is a no DQ match. Next up, the Tigre Uno segment, talking about Donald Trump. I know TNA had to fill some time. This is from TNA, of course. TNA had to fill some time due to the Hernandez situation. So they tried to jump on a hot button topic, which Donald Trump and his anti-Mexican immigrant rants. I think it was poorly done. I think it didn't really show the strengths of Tigre Uno. I think he's someone that's very marketable, very talented, a very good wrestler. I don't know if this is the best light to portray him in. Next up, Bobby Roode versus Matt Hardy in a tables match. The match itself was pretty decent. This was a number one contender match. I have no idea why it was made a tables match other than it's Bully Ray, who's the commissioner, whatever they want to call him, authority figures, specialty. Made no sense. Matt Hardy picks up the win with him in a match there was absolutely no heat on, no reason to go to a tables match. Could have just had a singles match to determine who the number one contender was, but I don't know. I don't book TNA, so I guess logic and sense and feud builders are out of the question. Coming from that, we're going to go into our worst match of the night. And that also comes from TNA, and it also has similar reasoning. Eric Young versus Rockstar Spud in a chain match. Again, these two guys don't have a feud going. There's no reason for it to be a chain match. There's not the hatred. There's no animosity. The only thing that makes it a chain match, I guess, is because Eric Young is a dangerous man. I don't know. To me, there was, again, no heat on the match. The match itself was kind of boring. Chain matches, realistically, especially in this era where we're trying to avoid blood unnecessarily and blading and tone down the violence a bit, chain matches are a little boring by nature. And this one kind of was as well. Eric Young picks up the win. Maybe it's a feud starter. I don't know. Now, coming from that, we're going to go into our question of the week. The question of the week from last week was, if you could set up a dream match between the four promotions that we cover from Wednesday Wrestling Wrap-Up, Lucha Underground, NXT, TNA Impact Wrestling, I can't believe I botched that, and Ring of Honor, you had to pick. All the opponents had to be from different shows to set up one dream match. What would you pick? First is up is our friend Sonny the Green Orc, Johnny Mundo versus Neville. That's an excellent pick. I think they would put on a high-flying classic. I think their styles are very similar build. I'd like to see it kind of be like the old guard passing on to the new guard. I think it'd be a good match. Be fun to watch. Next up from our friend Christian, who mentioned two different matches. First, their tag team match, the Wolves versus the Briscoes versus Prince Puma and Johnny Mundo versus Finn Balor and Hideo Itami. Basically a team representing every show. I like that idea. I like that kind of match. Kind of king of the mountain or king of the ring or whatever you would want to call it. King of the night match. And next up, Kurt Angle versus Roderick Strong. Wow, that's very, very solid and very impressive of a match. That's one I'd love to see. All these matches mentioned I would love to see. Angle versus Roderick Strong is a dream match for any kind of wrestling fan anywhere that's been paying attention for the last 15 years. My selection is going to be a little bit different. Finn Balor representing NXT versus Pentagon Jr. representing Lucha Underground. I'm thinking the whole feud out here, where Pentagon attacks Finn Balor as he's wrestling, brings out the Demon Balor, and then finally we see a culmination of the feud at a big show. Demon Finn Balor versus Pentagon Jr. I think it would be an excellent spectacle. I think it would be an excellent match. And a great feud, and I think they both could carry it very well. Now, speaking on NXT, we're going to go with an easy question for this week. Who do you see becoming the next NXT champion after Finn Balor? Let us know what you think. Hit us up on Facebook. Hit us up on Twitter. Put it down where? Down there in the comments. Also hit like and share while you're there. Get the word out. Spread out the Heel Heat word all over the internets. Next up, our positives from the night. First, from the land of NXT. Emma versus Bayley. I thought this was a great match. I thought it was a good way to reestablish Bayley as a legitimate threat in the Divas or Women's division in NXT. With Sasha, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch all going to the main roster, someone has to step up and be the head dog there. I don't see why not it being Bayley. She's deserved it for a very long time. She probably should have went to the main roster with the other three girls, but giving her the NXT Women's Championship for a little while, I have no problem with that. And she could carry it on. She beat Emma in a very good match that on Wednesday night. I thought it was excellent. Emma, very underrated wrestler, kind of got lost in the shuffle once she went to WWE, but still very good at what she does. Next up, also from the land of NXT, the Kevin Owens Finn Balor contract signing went pretty much how every contract signing does. Like I mentioned a few weeks ago when Lucha Underground did something similar, they added a new, fresh vibe to it. Kevin Owens struck William Regal. It was a little bit different and a little bit fresh, a little bit new characters. You take a tried and true tradition, add a little bit of evolution into it, and you got a great segment. Coming off of that, we're going to the promo of the night. Also from the world of NXT, Finn Balor coming out making his first promo as NXT World Champion. Cuts a decent promo, talks about his journey, talks about his success, talks about how he's going to continue to carry the title on. I really enjoyed that. I really thought, this is a way to really put him on that pedestal where he belongs. The guy's an excellent wrestler. The guy has absolute charisma. Give him the microphone more, let him work out and get more comfortable talking in front of an English audience. And he's got a lot better, and he's become very competent at that. His charisma shines through, and that's the thing of it. Once you have that charisma and you have that connection with the fans, like I've said before with Pentagon Jr., it's not so much what you're saying, it's how you're saying it. And he pulled this off very well. He carried himself as a world champion, and he definitely looked and felt the part. Next up, our match of the night. From Ring of Honor, which showed basically a clip show for the week at celebrating their 200th episode. They had one new match, but it was one good match. The Briscoe Brothers, ODB, and Roderick Strong versus the House of Truth, featuring Jay Lethal, Jay Diesel, Donovan Dijak, and Truth Martini. This was a good match, kind of showing the top feuds of Briscoes and Lethal, transferring over to Strong versus Lethal. I thought it was good. I think the Briscoes team with ODB and Strong picking up the win was good. It was a nice, fun match. A lot of fun interaction. It was one of those things where a lot of times 8-man matches become a train wreck. This one didn't really do it. I mean, it had its times where there were people flying all over the place. However, it kept it simple, it kept it good, it kept it fun. To me, I just thoroughly enjoyed the match. Like I said, the Briscoes, ODB, and Strong pick up the win in a solid, fun match. Coming off of that, last but not least, our show of the night. And I'm going to go with NXT. Even though we've seen quite a few squash matches, Miss All Red Everything, Eva Marie, Samoa Joe, Baron Corbin, the Vaudevillains, all pretty much had squash matches. It was also had some pretty great stuff. The Finn Balor promo, the contract signing, Emma and Bayley. There was some good stuff in the show. TNA put on a very lackluster show. Lucha Underground, a little bit lackluster for their standards. Ring of Honor was a glorified clip show with one match, so how can you really count that as show of the night? So on this night, NXT took the ball and took show of the night, in my opinion. But basically, that's all I have to say on that topic. My name is George Coles, and this has been Wednesday Wrestling Wrap-Up.